The moment na bumoto sa kanya, yung mga yan, the moment na dinefend nila si Digong, na-lock in na sila kasi kailangan nila panindigan yan. I know many people na wala pa sigurong 6 months into Digong administration, alam nila na budol yung nangyari. Pero ayaw nila aminin kasi masakit sa pride nila yan, 'di ba? Yung iba medyo towards the end na lang, medyo namulat and then nagkaroon ng, humility, 'di ba? At, eventually, tinanggap na nagkamali sila kay Digong, pero next thing you know, nag-unity. But anyway, um, 'di ba? Anyway, yung iba naman, in fairness, I think they really had good intentions. They tried to give the benefit of the doubt, and then they really realized it was a big mistake, and then etc. And then may mga hanggang ngayon, basta Duterte pa rin kami, 'di ba? Either hindi naman sinabi ni Duterte kung sinabi niyan, hindi naman yung context, iba yung context. Kahit iba yung context, bakit yung iba naman mas grabe yung sinabi nila kung hindi naman yun, "Oh, sige sinabi niya, so what? Eh, mas masama yung sa inyo," 'di ba? And then yung isa naman, aaminin nila, "Yeah, mali lahat ng ginawa niya. Sige budol, pero mahal ko pa rin siya." Bakit? Ano, karapatan ko 'yan, respect my opinion. 'Di ba alam yung mga gano'n? So may mga 5 stages ng kulto ay sorry, ng, gano'n yun, 'di ba? First of all, di-deny mo, "Wala naman talaga sinabi si ano, ano lang yun, fake news yan, dilawan lang nagsabi." Tapos pangalawa, sinabi niyan pero hindi yun context, 'di ba? Pakinggan niyo si Harry Roque, 'di ba? Sabi ni Harry Roque, hindi yun ang context. Kayo kasi hindi naintindihan yung context ni Digong kasi iba yung kultura, gano'n. Tapos pangatlo, oo, sinabi niyan pero, yun din naman ang sinabi ng kabila, grabe naman kayo, 'di ba? Tapos yung fourth level, talagang ano, yun talagang sinabi niya, bakit? Anong gusto mo ngayon? Ano, siyempre may nagawa naman siyang tama na iba, kahit mali siya dito, may nagawang tama. So kung timbangan mo, okey pa rin. And then yung panglima, hindi talagang aminado siya na purong palpak nangyari. Palpak sa West Philippine Sea, palpak sa, Pogo, palpak sa lahat. Pero sabi niya, mahal ko pa rin siya, bakit? Hindi mo naman ako mapipili, 'di ba? Bakit pipilitan ko na gustuhin ko si Leni, ayoko yan. Gusto ko piliin si ano, yan, gano'n yun, gano'n yan, yung ayan, yan. So yun yung second phase ng yung term yung concept ng enshittification ni Cory Doctorow, 'no? Nalo-lock in ka na. So first, temptation, seduction, 'di ba? I know medyo 'pag Digong seduction medyo, ayoko maging mean but, anyway, respect na lang, respect. Pero yung second phase malo-lock in ka na kasi kailangan mong panindigan yung ano mo, yung boto mo, Kailangan mong panindigan 'yan or I don't know, kababayan mo siya, sige panindigan ko na 'yan, 'di ba? 'Di ba? O 'yan, sabi ayan si Matt Linaw hanggang ngayon daw dine-defend niya sa okey, alam mo, to be honest, kinukuya ko yan, Ang pangalan niya si Diskaya, 'di ba? British accent siya. To be honest, tapos after that parang nakuha ko na lang to be honest porket nag-Oxford lang tayo to be honest. Hindi, pero ito totoo, to be honest. There were times na ito criticize ako kay Digong, Ako mismo, pero kung may foreigner na nag-comment na ano, biglang nagiging ano ako, defensive ako. Bakit? Wala kang karapatan, kayo nga mga Amerikano ganyan, ganyan, kayo nga mga ganyan, mga puti mga ganyan, ganyan. Ta's napansin ko may pagka parang, hindi kami puwede kami mag-criticize pero kayo wala kayong pake, alis kayo dito, 'di ba, gano'n. So, okey lang, naintindihan ko, level 6 na 'yan, na kahit hindi ka kasama sa kulto nagde-defend ka pa rin dahil lang Pinoy pride, 'di ba? Iba naman 'yang Pinoy pride. So, yeah, sometimes abroad din ang ginagawa ko, 'di ba? Criticize ko pero at the same time, presidente namin 'yan, mga ganyan, ganyan. Okay, anyway, sige, oo na, sige insultuhin niyo ako, go lang as if naman, 'di ba? Mukha pa tayong ano, um, sa kaka-troll niyo sa'kin mga didis, tuloy naging troll ako. Yan mas magaling pa ako sa inyo. Kawawa tuloy, na Marcolets na naman yung mga kaibigan natin. Anyway, and then yung third phase is eto na talaga, you're deep in it, brother. Yun yung third phase ng yung tinatawag na enshittification ni, Cory Doc. By the way, hindi ito literal, this is a conceptual thing. Mamaya naman ite-take out of context na naman yung mga kaibigan natin, So ito yung third phase, ito yung kung saan dahil alam nila nandiyan ka na, aabusuhin nila yung powers na nila, aabusuhin nila yung kasi naka-lock in na. So, alam namin itong area, ganitong support namin, alam namin itong demographics, itong support namin, alam namin kami may hawak na resort, ganun. So if you look at it, in fact, one of the things I'm researching on while here, aside from God willing trying to finish a book project, is I'm researching bakit lumala yung corruption over the past decade. Kasi kung titignan mo yung flood control projects, 2016 nagsimula yan. Hindi 2019, hindi 2022, hindi 20... Yes, lumala siya lalo over time. No question about it. At kaya nga, binabantayan natin mabuti. Kailan ba yung non-bailable na charge kay Jinggoy at saka yung mga ibang mga Duterte, iba yung mga kung sino-sino yung mga nandiyan sa Kongreso, sa kabinete. Go ahead, no? Syempre binabantayan natin na mabuti yan. Lahat naman tayo nandun sa trillion pesos March last year, September, ang bilis ng panahon. But going back to this, guys, ang guys, come on. Wag na naman insultuhin yung mga natin, mga troll na. Troll na nga kayo, insultuhin niyo pa yung troll ko. Anyway, doon na kaya kay Sir Ronald sa 4 alas kayo. Going back to this, going back to the concept of enshittification by Cory Doctorow. I'm applying this to populism, no, demagoguery, no, in particular the Dutertismo case. So ito na, attractive, seductive, believe na believe ka, ito ng pag-asa ng ating bansa, marami sa ating kababayan dahil desperado for change, genuine change, at of course, understandable in desperation, etc. Go, okay. Second phase na lock-in ka na, panindigan mo na yung boto mo. Third phase, ito na yung problema. Andyan na tayo, may support base na, solid base na, hawak na yung mga nasa pader na, pader or poder? Nasa poder, right? Nasa poder. Sa poder na, hawak na yung mga malalaking institution, di ba? Hindi, maganda yung mga metrolls kasi gumaganda yung So, ito, nasa poder na, poder tuloy, nasa poder na, maganda na yung may hawak na dun sa mga commanding heights of the economy, kumbaga, etc. At dun nagsisimula yung happy times. Kaya sabi ko, if during Digong, from 2016 to 2018, libo-libo sa ating mga kabayan, by some measure, this is the death under investigation, DEI numbers, 23,000 sa ating kababayan ay pinatay under suspicious circumstances na drug addict daw, addict daw, etc. At alam natin, EGK most likely yung karamihan yan, if not all of them. Kung ito na nga, they could get away with that. Malamang they could get away with so many other things. Next thing you know, sa West Philippine Sea, sasabihin, hindi ka, wala tayong magagawa, di ba? Yung mga Tatay Trump style. One day ganito, another ganito, ang gulo-gulo. Next thing you know, wala, we lost the momentum when it comes dun sa we lost momentum when it comes to yung basically defending the West Philippines. There were so many things we wanted to do in 2016, 2017. Joint patrols dun sa mga aliado natin, purchasing new weapon systems, potentially exploring submarines, fighter jets. Kaya lahat na yan na finiriz ni Tatay Digong. So nawala na tayo ng momentum kasi China siya ng China. Next thing you know, pogo pa siya ng pogo. Kahit ayaw pa ng China, nagpo-pogo siya ng China. Like, ang gulo, di ba? So everything was completely out of control. And yun yung talagang full, you can call it populist political enshittification. Di ba? Again, this is a concept, all right? It's not from me. It's a concept by Cory Doctorow. I think there's, may libro yan eh. Because I've come across a lot of works referring to his work, but you can Google it yourself. What is enshittification? Because I think it applies to many things. Dahil meme na lahat eh. Meme na lahat sa ating politika eh, di ba? And in my opinion, actually not opinion only, analysis, decade-long analysis, yan din na nag-explain bakit ganyan yung ating Senado ngayon. Kung titingnan mo yung Senado natin ngayon, guys, I'm saying, maraming tao na depressed nung si Bong Revilla yung nag-number 1 sa Senate race. This is 2010, right? Nag-number 1 si Bong Revilla. And that was when napaisip ang tao, like, what the heck is going on sa ating Senado? From that Senate to the Senate in 2019 when, bakit? Si Cynthia. Si Cynthia Villar ay nag-number 1. Naku po, sabi natin, ito na. Nagiging exciting na. Next thing you know, Robin Hood Padilla, yung nag-number 1 for Senate. More than 20 million votes. And then, in my opinion, it was even worse in the latest one. The latest one, yung dalawa na hinahanap, yung isa, confirmed na, yung isa, I think, yun ang next, na ICC wanted, alleged criminals for mass atrocities. Number 1 and number 3, pero yung number 3 sobrang lapid. Like, bam, just over 20 million. si Bato just around 20 million, yung isa lampas pa ng 25 million. So, dito pa lang nakikita natin yung third phase ng enshittification, populist enshittification, 'no? Drawing on the concept of, I keep on referring that kasi ite-take out of context na naman ng mga I'm sorry, mga henyo 'yan, mga mga henyo, sorry, hindi, and that's what I mean. Naalala ko pa rin yung isang hater na ewan, naalala niyo guys yung tinake out of context yung HDI, Human Development Index ko, ta's may isang moron na sabi niya, "Uy, dahil yan sa sabi ni Darren matatalo ang mga pink sa election 2025." Parang, wait, unang-una hindi ako involved in their campaigns, pangalawa, as if naman parang ako pa yung and then third, hello, Bam was number 2 nevertheless, and Kiko was number 5, so obviously anyway, ang daming mga loser na hater na gano'n. Anyways, alam nila kung sino sila. Basta ako hindi ko nakakalimutan yung mga ganyan. Mamaya. Anyway, balikan natin 'to. So, what makes me worried is hindi na ito usapin ng sino nag-number 1, ako si Robin Hood Padilla. So, kung tinanggal mo si Robin Hood Padilla, okey na lahat. Hindi, eh. Or 'pag tinanggal natin yung mga DDS na senador, okey na lahat. Hindi, eh. Tignan mo sa Do 13. Actually, dun sa Do 13, karamihan dun actually hindi DDS talaga, eh. Yung iba pa nakiki-DDS dahil lang may ambisyon, Malaleviste style. Sinasakyan lang yung DDS para magkaroon ng following, or si Meow Meow, 'di ba? Tingnan mo yung mga Meow Meow, yung mga gano'n, walang achievement sa buhay, nepo kid, ewan, nagkaroon lang ng traction dahil basically demagoguery, right? Appealing to the DDS base and all of that, like, all that kachipyangan, 'di ba? Although I cannot blame these people, no talent, no achievement, no nothing, no discipline, no nothing. So eto lang talagang, if this is their road to fame or infamy, it is what it is. I understand it. Grifter is life. Okay, got it. But going back to this, maraming galit dito ng mga Arsenal fans na natalo kanina sa PSG. But anyway, for me, kahit tinanggal mo yung mga DDS senator, hindi pa rin maayos yan, eh. Ano, talagang na-degrade yung ating institusyon. Kailangan ko bang pangalanan yung mga isang solar mom, yung isa pa nga kapatid pa ng presidente, DDS lang yan dahil alam niya hindi naman magiging presidente yan, or ayaw na siya ng kapatid niya na nasa Malacanang at saka yung first lady, mahabang usapan. But ano na, Karen lang, yung dalawa diyan Karen lang, hindi naman DDS mga yan, Karen lang yung mga yan. Tapos yung mga iba diyan nakikiano lang sa majority para lang may gano'n, yung iba nag-ambisyon pa na, yung iba naman kilay is life, 'di ba? Medyo alanganin na, kailangan ko nandito para may chance ako maging, hindi kaya yeah, opportunists basically. So what you see is this very toxic cocktail of fanatic grifter club building a massive coalition with legal luminaries, building coalition with opportunistas, and then next thing you know, yun na yung hegemonic bloc. It's so hegemonic that assuming makukulong pa yung mga karamihan sa kanila, tuloy pa rin yung majority nila kasi they have rigged the system in a way, or they're trying to rig the system so that tuloy-tuloy ito at magkakaroon sila ng chat room, 'di ba? They'll basically have an online majority. But even that is under question because you can see the degradation, right? Ng ating yung corrosive impact ng Dutertismo sa ating mga institusyon, because if you look at, for instance, imagine wala si Torre, wala si Trillanes, wala yung mga TNT na yan, 'di ba? How effective do you think our institution would have been in terms of apprehending Digong, in terms of apprehending Kibuloy, in terms of pushing the cases sa ICC, in terms of pinning down itong mga senador, Duterte, whatever? I'm yet to be convinced otherwise. I mean, hello, all I see now is nag-apila kami kay Bato na surrender siya. Hello, what the heck? How did the guy get inside and out? Ano, Banana Republic? Eh, kung Bato na nga lang hindi niyo mahuli, paano sinugot tayo ng ibang bansa? Na-infiltrate tayo ng intelligence services ng ibang bansa. Anong gagawin natin? Eto na nga lang hindi niyo maayos-ayos na gawin. Is it incompetence? Is it Something else? Something worse? Is it a combination of all the above? Your guess is as good as mine. Or maybe I have a guess, but I'm not gonna say it on the record. But anyway, and even si BBM, na, like, you know, yes, great. I mean, he didn't turn out as horrible as we thought. Yes, pinaano, pero alam naman natin yun, may interest din siya na maano si Digong mga gano'n kasi alam mo na, wasak yung unit team. Mortal na enemy niya yung mga Duterte. But even if mortal na enemy niya, ano mang sinabi ni BBM in terms of justifying ay wala. Tapos nakikiano pa siya kay Matet, 'di ba? Yung binili pa niya yung line ni Matet na, "Ay hindi, yung putukan nangyari dito dahil may mga unidentified, charot-charot, may mga." Eh, ano lang ni Matet yun, eh, hanash lang ni Matet yun. Gumawa lang yata sila ng eksena, eh. I mean, I'm sorry, 'di ba? So, what I'm saying is that the populist political enshittification process has really cut through the bones, 'di ba? Basically, ano na 'to, eh, pumasok na sa sistema, it's in the bloodstream of our heavily compromised, besieged democratic system. It's very, very sad what's happening, guys. Nakakahiya talaga. And for me, beyond nakakahiya na nangyari kasi nakakahiya na matagal na, eh, time pa ng Digong nakakahiya na talaga, eh. But this is really troubling dahil si Digong nasa ICC na, so hindi na natin siya masisisi. Pin down naman yung mga ano, iba diyan, 'di ba? Yung iba naging pugante na, yung iba soon to be pugante, yung isa ex-convict baka maging pugante ulit, 'di ba? Ba't hindi lang naman sila ngayon ang may ano, eh, sila yung ugat ng problema, tignan mo yung iba hindi naman DDS, pero nagko-contribute dito sa problema na ito. Ginagawang ano, eh, they're making a mockery out of our institutions or at least our aspirations to have better democratic institutions. So yun yung populist enshittification na unfortunately nakikita ko and mahirap ayusin yan. In the same way na again, going back to the conceptual framework of, Dr. O, kung mahirap ayusin yung fake news online, mahirap din ayusin yung populist enshittification in terms of corrosion and erosion of democratic institutions. Kaya dun sa mga kaibigan natin, mga kasama natin na gusto nila ayusin ang ating bansa, na sa tingin nila, I mean may pag-asa naman, lahat ng bansa naman may pag-asa if you put enough effort into it, 'di ba? Any country na nag-give up yung mga tao talagang self-fulfilling prophecy yan. But dun sa mga ating mga kaibigan na gusto nila ng tunay, sustainable, may hangganan na pagbabago, talagang dapat titignan natin how can we reverse this systemic enshittification, right? How can we reverse this systemic corrosion? At hindi yan madali. So alam ko ang line pala natin, ipakulong si ganito, ipaalis si ganito, tapos pinagtawanan itong Duterte, yung Duterte na yan. Pero as I said, the sad news is even if mawala yung mga yan, the problem is not gonna go away kasi nakapasok na sa bloodstream ng sistema, eh. So you need some serious therapy, intervention para ayusin yan. I hope guys you don't get overwhelmed or intimidated by this because pwede naman ayusin yan. We're not the only country dealing with this. Historically, there have been worse cases in ibang bansa. Nazis nag-take over, fascists nag-take over, all sorts of horrible people took over, and somehow they were able to fix it. Because unang-una, tinanggap nila na yung problema ay systematic. Pangalawa, naghanap sila ng mga solusyon. Pangatlo, nag-teamwork sila. Pang-apat, nag-experiment sila with different kind of solution. And panglima, they upgraded and preserved and constantly recalibrated the best possible policies. Kaya Germany was able to get out of the horrific political system it had in the early 20th century. And so many other countries. Chile got out of the Pinochet horror era. Argentina, medyo mahabang story. Brazil, to a certain degree, was able to recover from both the dictatorship era and the Bolsonaro era. But again, it's kind of somewhere there. But at least they're making an effort. At least there's some movement in the right direction. Spain after General Franco. So I can give many examples of many countries na sobrang malala yung kanilang sitwasyon. And somehow they were able to get over it. But first, tinanggap nila na sabi ko nga, Dutertismo, ano yan, problem child natin yan. We cannot get away from it. We cannot escape it. It's gonna be there. And it's also an electoral reality. Now, there's at least one survey na nilabas natin. I posted kanina. I think nasa DZRH naman yun, eh. Now, it shows actually a reset around 27 to 30%. I was told there's another authoritative survey. Hindi ko lang sabihin anong survey yan. it also puts Rizal that at head-to-head. But actually, uh, Sara still wins that. The other one that just came out, pulsation naman yan. This one, mga 10 points na lang yung difference with Lenny. But nevertheless, 'di ba? There's we should not we should not become complacent and say, "Ah, yun pala eh. Kaya palang tingnan mo si Lenny 3% lang dati. 10 months removed from elections. Ngayon, 2 years removed, 20 months removed, 'di ba? 10 points na lang difference. Sure. But nevertheless, guys, tingnan niyo naman yung mga numbers, 'di ba? This should awaken us dun sa depth ng mga challenges, 'di ba? Talagang malalim yung mga problema natin. But again, this is not insurmountable. Pero hindi tayo pwede maging wishful thinking lang. Hindi pwede na kumanta lang tayo, hindi lang pwede na magkantsawan lang tayo, magbardago lang tayo, and then we think everything will be fine. It doesn't work that way. Kaya nga sabi ko, mahalaga na meron tayong isang systematic assessment ng problem, meron tayong healthy way of debating anong potential solutions dito, at pangatlo, meron tayong ways by which we can actually organize an effective response in a sustained manner across time and across different geographic spaces across our country, no? So, that is why, guys, tayo po, I don't just say things na para lang matuwa yung mga ibang tao. Alam ko naman marami naiinis sa atin dahil wala naman tayong sinasanto, right? Except yung mga totoong santo, right? We have reverence, we have respect for religious institutions, spiritual institutions. Pero pagdating sa mga politiko, wala akong sinasanto. Lahat naman sila politiko, wala naman perfect eh. And speaking of perfection, wala na rin naman perfect in terms of expertise and talent. We are in a shifting political landscape. What worked 10 years ago, or even 5 years ago, or even probably a year or 2 years ago, it's not gonna work come 2028. So dapat experimental tayo and all, diba? And as I said, so at least in this survey, mukhang a lot of work can be done here. Palawan area, Western Visayas area, the Cebu area is quite competitive. Things could be strengthened in NCR region. And then interesting, in some part of the country, in the north of the country, actually, may laban din si Sara Duterte dito. Probably this assumes Amy Marcos is gonna endorse. So this map is interesting because if there's a coalitional politics, there could be people from here north and people from Palawan, parts of Visayas, even parts of Mindanao. If they endorse Lenny or they endorse Riza or Bam, whoever becomes the united candidate, or even Tulfo for that matter, or Tulfo Lenny or whatever, then suddenly this is going to be even more competitive than what it is in some of the head-to-head matches we're seeing right now, diba? So this is the interesting moving situation we're seeing. But then again, malakas pa rin, diba? And look at the numbers here, diba? Well, not 100%, but 91% with a margin of error, what, 3% or 3 to 5%? So what, 94, 95%? So here you can see the strength. Malakas pa rin si Sara sa Balance Luzon and NCR. Marami sa ating mga ABC, you can see in the survey. Visayas, she's still strong, but grabe, sa Mindanao talaga 91%, right? Very, very, very strong. Si Lenny, just as competitive in NCR, stronger in Balance Luzon, statistically tied in Visayas, but Mindanao, so much work has to be done here. So we have to reach out. Yun yung sinasabi ko. We have to reach out. There's so much that has to be done. I think this is where, yes, we can have a lot of debate and discussion. This is where a lot of work has to be done in those swing states I identified in Palawan, Western Visayas, even parts of Ilocos and the north of the country, but also in parts of Mindanao. We have to reach out, and reaching out should not be like, let me educate you. We have to understand talaga na Dutertismo had more than a decade to gain ground, to build its roots, diba? You are not gonna reverse it overnight. You're not gonna reverse it just by online fights and bardagulan. No. Even if we do 1,000 more interviews with Ronald and all of that, hindi yan magbabago unless we go on the ground, we engage, we listen, we consult. Again, you're not going to go from 7% to 70%, but maybe from 7% go to 30% to 40%. Then suddenly there's a momentum. And then dun sa Luzon area, you can strengthen your position. In other parts of Visayas, you can strengthen your position. You can win over there. But effort has to be done. But effort has to be done based on evidence, based on the reality we're facing right now, right? You meet the voters where they are. Hindi yung saan mo sila in-imagine. definitely you're not gonna win kung puro na lang magyabangan, insulto tayo. Ako, yes, sometimes I trash talk and all of that. Fair game, bastos yung mga troll, mga tablet yung mga ano natin, I put them in the right place. But once we're done with that, okay, let's move forward. What should we do? What can we do? Let's listen, let's consult, let's learn, let's experiment, let's win over. Let's learn also, listen, and then try to win over from a genuine position. Improve, engage, 'di ba? Lahat 'yan kailangan natin gawin eh. And this doesn't only apply to whether it's Lenny who's gonna run or Risa or Bam. It applies to lahat ng ating mga kabayan who rightly believe there is a better future para sa ating bansa. But there are a couple of things that we have to do together. So in the same way, now you have this process of enshittification sa internet, sa platforms and all. Unfortunately, you can also have that in a democratic political system. And in fact, that will be the column I'm going to work on very shortly. And reversing that is not going to be easy. It's like detoxing, right? But detoxing with like at a very high complex algorithmic level. And kaya nga, fighting disinformation is not easy. Fighting fake news is not easy. In the same way, reversing populism and demagoguery is not easy, but it's doable. It is doable. It's not, you cannot go from 10 to 0 in terms of reversing the bad things, but you can go from 10 to 5, 10 to 4, 10 to 6, even at 10 to 7, things can work. At yun yung dapat mindset na meron tayo. Because unfortunately, life is not always black and white, not in terms of morality and aspirations, but in terms of actual rough texture of reality, of political reality. But if you can make it less evil and slightly better, you can save many lives. You can create a lot of economic growth. You can create a ton of new hope. Diba? At yun ang gusto natin gawin. Kaya sabi ko, dito sa ating mga podcast, discussions, and interviews, sometimes we laugh, sometimes, obviously, it's dark humor, sometimes we're sarcastic, sometimes we're... But at the end of the day, ang gusto natin mangyari dito is to impart critical thinking, right? And critical thinking is, first of all, accepting things for what they are, understanding how did things go wrong, and then from there, trying to figure out what is the best way to solve it. And at the same time, have the humility na no one knows for sure exactly what will work. So we have to be experimental within range of most probable successful solutions. But above all, we have to work together. We have to talk with each other. We have to consult. We have to have soul searching. We have to also look at saan tayo nagkulang. Kaya kami, tuloy-tuloy pa rin yung podcasting namin. I mean, thanks to Christian, Kristan, Ronald, everyone, diba? Somehow we have been able to detox yung political podcasting, or rather political social media space of Pilipinas. But that's just the first step. And there's just so much that some people like us can do. I mean, we're just at most influencers, right? But we're not decision makers, or at least not direct decision makers when it comes to our political institutions. So kasama kami sa isang kilosan in terms of purging and cleaning up, deshitification, or cleanification ng ating political system. But this will need more support. This will need more critical thinking. And this will need more collaboration by all of us. Maraming salamat, guys. I don't know, ano ng time zone natin? Iba-iba yung time zone natin. Iba yung mga kaibigan followers natin. Nasa Manila, gising ba kaya? Anong oras na ba? 5 a.m.? 4 a.m.? Anyways, at least dito yung mga kaibigan natin sa Europe, medyo naabutan natin. Pero yun nga, napansin ko, mas maraming mga Pinoy talaga pag nasa Canada, US ako and all, grabe, ang daming awake when all. But nevertheless, salamat sa mga new followers natin, long-time followers natin from UK, from Europe, etc. Thank you so much for joining us. And don't worry, tuloy-tuloy lang ginagawa natin. On our part, God willing, we're preparing, we're trying to set up, build our own analytics, get more involved, push for positive change. Again, in a non-partisan way. I may criticize this party and say this party is doing well, etc. Not because yun ang partido ko. No, because I think mas malapit sila dun sa tama, 'di ba? Para sa ating bayan. At I'm confident enough na at least I got the diagnostics of the problems wrong. Right. What went wrong, right? And we're trying very, very, very hard to make sure na we can come up with the best possible solutions. But then again, no one has the exact perfect answer. At actually, the paradigmatic assumption is radical uncertainty. This is something that I discussed recently in my interview also with Professor Paul Collier, Sir Collier, at top level economist here. We're hoping to also talk to more top level economists and experts from all around the world. Unfortunately, we're not able to get live isang top philosopher from Harvard. But maybe online na lang natin siya makuha later this month. Medyo nainis ako kasi we were hoping to have him dun sa joint project natin with Oxford Policy Pop and Deep Dive. But anyways, guys, we're doing what we can do on our part with the limited resources and limited capabilities we have. But when we're together, we can make this work. At alam ko marami sa ating mga kabayan, I'm seeing folks from Switzerland, from Denmark, from UK. Naalala ko pag nagla-live ako from Roma or from Hague, no? Ang dami rin natin mga followers diyan. Thank you so much again. Let's just continue this. Go lang tayo at wag tayo mag-give up. And who knows, baka next week interesting na hindi na available yung kaso, diba? And sometimes when I ask questions, it's not out of like, of course, kaya ko naman i-Google yan. That's not the point. Actually, things are more complicated than you think. So for instance, check out yung latest interviews natin with both Attorney Conti and also, of course, with Justice Carpio, discussing ano yung basis na bailable and non-bailable. You cannot just say, oh, dahil graph yan, hindi yan plunder, whatever. It's still technical. Dun sa trial ni Digong, ano yung dynamics, anong pinamangyan? Technical yan eh. And even within the technical world, there's some speculative probabilistic analysis. So that's why we do what we do, and I hope you appreciate our effort, guys. Kahit mahirap minsan, I'm just trying to squeeze in this interview in the middle of that. Kahit minsan, nakachipangan lang yung zoom lang tayo. I hope you appreciate the little effort we're putting into this because this is part of our commitment sa ating bayan and the project that we have, which is nation building sa ating Pilipinas. Yes, malalim yung problema natin, but fortunately, hindi tapos ang laban, and even more encouraging than that,